Everyone told me adulting is hard, but no one ever told me why. Because no matter what you achieve in life, the bar always keeps getting higher. Your reference point always shifts, so you always feel like you are catching up to something. I almost believe that the adults in our life didn't want to warn us what it's really all about because they wanted us to be frustrated and under-equipped and scared and stressed and screwed and find it out by ourselves so that they could laugh at us and be like, oh, welcome to the club. This is what adulting is. The reason it's hitting me now, the endlessness of YouTube, the endlessness of real life, particularly after the age of 25, is weirdly because I started making YouTube. And I'm now having this vivid imagery of what it's really all about, and I'm gonna tell you what it is by contrasting it with a regular 9 to 5. The economic crisis that we are in, the current job market, is such that it promises us a great job if you get a lot of degrees, PhDs, postdocs, to then be qualified for the job that doesn't exist. They want us to be in this endless cycle, and it's only getting harder, and the overpopulation problem is only increasing. If you are a Gen Z or a millennial watching this, which I imagine you are, then for the majority of your life, you have been in a project-based endeavor. You have been a student for the majority of your life. And the way student life differs from real adult life is till 10th, we knew what to do. And after that, we had 11th, 12th, which in America is commonly known as high school. And after that, we had our 4-year project, a bachelor's degree that we had to get. After that, a master's degree. For some people, a PhD and a postdoc. You will never catch me doing a PhD. I hate that. But we have been in this project-based reward that you do this, you'll get this, and there is an end to it. That's what most of the life we have lived is. True adulthood is only achieved after the age of 25. I really believe that. Because we are so stuck doing all these degrees that getting a job, being responsible for your own self only really happens after that age. Okay, let me explain that vivid imagery to you by contrasting it with the 9 to 5. The stark contrast here is this. If you're in a 9 to 5, if you're in a job where the structure was set for you by society, then you are right now climbing a steep staircase, which is very hard to climb, but at least it's there. You have to juggle 3 to 4 balls every single day, whether it's your work, your personal life with family, your gym and chores and so on. And when you juggle these 3 to 4 balls effectively, then a few months from now, a few years from now, you will get something at the end of it. Whether it's a promotion, whether your kid graduates middle school or your kid graduates high school, retirement, we still have these goalposts that we are trying to achieve. Like there is some semblance of structure here, even though the endlessness of life really kicks in after 25. The way it contrasts with you trying to build your personal brand or you trying to do YouTube. 2 weeks ago, I made a video that I thought was great. But when I made that video and I clicked publish, I couldn't just kick back my feet on the couch and eat a cake. I couldn't just revel in it. There was, what's next? There is always a next. And then I made another video and I was like, oh God, I have to make another one and another one. And all of my favorite creators, influencers on Instagram or YouTube, they all told me this, that you just have to show up consistently. You have to be iteratively evolving with that consistency. You just have to keep going. They all told me that. But for some reason, it wasn't clocking to me. I wasn't standing on business. But now it's clocking to me because it never ends. Especially when you make a YouTube. Let me explain to you. I am right now in the middle of the ocean. I am at Point Nemo. And I put myself here. There is no steep staircase. It doesn't exist, not when you are doing something of your own, when you are building every single step from scratch. Right now, the way I visualize it, I have 13 steps. stepping stones rather than a staircase. And they exist because I made them. I say 13 steps because this is my 13th video. For me to go in any direction right now, I'm standing on my 13th stone in the middle of the ocean. I have to make my next step, and I have to make it from scratch. No matter what direction I go in, if I want to move anywhere, I have to make it and then step on it. So it's not just the labor of climbing a staircase, it's also the labor of making it. That's where your decision fatigue comes in. So the way it contrasts with a 9 to 5 structured life is this. The reason I think is going to be relevant to you is because we were promised this stability in life from the many degrees that we get and then the job that we do, right? The problem is that gap between what a 9 to 5 looks like versus what your own brand or YouTube looks like is reducing. I understand to an extent why people follow faith, why people are religious, why people always listen to their peers. They're all following the same structure. And that Fleabag dialogue suddenly makes sense, right? I don't know what to do. I don't know what comes next. And that's why people need faith or religion or read a religious book, because they read it and the instructions tell them what to do next, so they don't have to make the decision. And doing your own YouTube and not knowing what to do next, and your own brain telling you, hey, that's the true meaning of you being your own boss. This is a one-woman show or a one-man show, and you are not just doing the work of an employee or a manager, you're also doing the work of, well, an entire production house. You are doing the work of 100 people. That's why it's so stressful. The reason, coming back to what I said about the gap reducing, I don't know a single person in life who hasn't given up something that came naturally to them, their creativity or a sports that they truly enjoyed, to do a boring job, to learn a boring degree, to get the stability that we crave as we get older. And in doing so, for the past 10 or 15 or 20 years, we have killed our creativity or put it aside on the back burner or in our back pocket, and we never allowed it to flourish. And we trusted the system. I don't know what we trusted, but we trusted that everyone is doing this, everyone is getting that degree, it's going to get me that amazing job, that amazing stability that I need in life as I age, because so many things keep happening. At least my source of income and work should be trustworthy, right? That's what I mean by the gap reducing. It's not stable anymore, because we know what the economic crisis is right now. We know what the job market is, and how everyone is suddenly comfortable admitting just how unemployed they are, and they love it, because who in their right minds, how did someone convince us that spending 10 to 15 hours away from our loved ones trying to build someone else's dream was normal? And that is why I think this whole ocean analogy is going to be relevant to you, because the 9 to 5 and structured life keeps getting more unstable, and we keep getting more screwed, to the point that we just don't know what to do anymore, and we are exhausted and we are spent. That is around the time I realized, this is my 20s, I have tried a lot of things, I'm gonna try yet another thing, which is what I'm doing right now. And the conclusion of it all, the way I'm trying to imagine is, I'm trying to relate it to the gym, because the gym is something so concrete and tangible, with a lot of fit people giving you the advice that you just have to show up, you just have to build that muscle. But I'm thinking out loud right now, when you have to build a great physique, there is a different kind of work. And when you have to maintain a great physique, but you don't just sit there, right? You still have to put the reps in. And the work that you do to build it versus the work that you do to maintain it is different. So that's what I'm trying to relate to with my YouTube. That's what I'm trying to envision it as, so that it can connect, so that there's this resonance in my life. What I'm doing right now, by showing up, by making a video, I told myself, this is my job, I'm going to make videos. by playing to my strengths. I'm putting the reps in. And I'm doing that by playing to my what I believe are my strengths. I have always been able to have a good conversation with someone. I am that friend you can call up at 2 a.m. and talk for hours, and I'm trying to draw from that strength to make this video, to talk to you right now. I believe when we are trying to make something of ourselves, a brand, a YouTube, whatever it might be, if we play to our strengths, we have an infinite supply to draw from. If we don't, we are always going to be in a deficit. I can't believe I said that, but you can quote me. And I'm doing that. I am trusting blindly. Well, not exactly blindly. I am in real time, iteratively getting better at this. The more reps I put in, the more valuable skills in life I'm building. There is a bee right now, I hope you can't hear that. But the more valuable skills in life I'm trying to build right now, the ability to talk to you, the ability to talk without using filler words, to express myself clearly. Whether I have a 9 to 5 in the future, which I really don't want, but I might just have to get it when I'm allowed to work in the country. But I'm gonna have to express myself. And like I said, not exactly blindly trusting that it's just going to keep making me better. Well, I am already a little more comfortable talking to you right now than I was 2 weeks ago when I made my first diary entry style video. And I realized, you know what? I can do this. And right now I'm more comfortable making eye contact than earlier when I was looking all over the place. So I have iteratively gotten better just in 2 weeks, and that is what I'm trying to do. So yes, I'm still at Point Nemo. You know, tomorrow I could get monetized. Right now I'm in the middle of the ocean. I have no visibility. If I get monetized tomorrow, which I hope I don't, because I'm not allowed to earn money, I can see an island or I can see a lighthouse. The thing is, even if I get monetized, I am still gonna have to make that stepping stone and then step on it and keep going. And I will never reach that island. That is what I'm realizing right now. The way you can never get full marks for an essay that you wrote, it's always a 4.5 or 4.75, but never a 5 out of 5. You never build the absolute best physique. You can always do better. The body is always capable of more. The same way, I will never get to that island. I will never get to that lighthouse. But in a way, it's a security. It's a tiny bit of a structure that I can visually, tangibly see, or I imagine myself seeing, because this is not real. This is just a figment of my imagination for me to make sense of this. But I still have to keep going. I just have to keep swimming. And yes, the adults didn't tell us, society didn't tell us, society is actively trying for us to not realize this, so that we are extra frustrated when that endlessness hits us, and by that time it might just be too late, because we have kids and we are governable and we will always have higher stakes in our life and something else and someone else to live for, and we'll always fall prey to this facade of stability with the 9 to 5 that just doesn't exist, or is at least reducing as we move forward. So I hope, if you're trying to make something of your own self right now, this video and this visualization helps you. Because just 2 weeks ago, when I was in the middle of imagine you are in the middle of the ocean. We've all seen those videos on Instagram, right? The ocean is like this and the ship is going like this. How scary are we through the screen when we see that? And the way my algorithm is curated for myself, 90% of the comments I see are, I will never be caught doing that. Ever. That's how scary it is. Imagining that happening to you in real life, except that you put yourself there. So if you're doing a YouTube right now, like me, that's the position you are in. And yes, you are scared, I am scared, but we still have to put the reps in. That's what I've learned. That's what I'm trying to do. And like life, like that island, that you never get to the end. So in this video too, there is no end. We never get there. We just keep going. We just keep swimming. There is no end in sight.